Hey there guys, welcome back to another episode of Monster Super League. It's your boy Odin, and today we're going to be doing the new Astromon review for Cernunnos, but before we do, we're going to do some rebirths for him first. So we're just going to go ahead and go to the rebirths here and try my luck and see what I managed to get. Again, I'm kind of like, if I pulled a light one, I'd probably build a light one first because I need a light monster, Titan monster, so... And I'm just going to try to, basically throw out only the monsters that I can afford to use right now or let go. Again, for new players, guys, kind of, avoid him. You get more use out of your monsters from, keeping them to use them in other places. There's other monsters to replace him. So he's more of a trophy monster, but nothing too crazy. All right, so I got the light one, I got the fire one twice. And such is the luck of, MSL. RNG is probably maybe only on my side once out of 100 tries. Yeah, let's see what we get. Got two fires. Ooh, a dark one. That's definitely interesting. Okay. Well, I guess I'll probably be building the dark one to try him out. It's still a win, I guess. So, hoping that I pull the light one instead. But dark, I'll take the dark one. Why not? Any dark monster, it's a good monster to build. And again, that just kind of gives me more content for you guys. So I'll definitely build him up and try him in arena, and we'll see how he goes. How much damage he does and anything like that. So keep a lookout now that I have him. I'll probably do a showcase video on him too. And let's see what we get. Last one, wood one. Alright, so I'm pretty happy I got a dark type. I'm never lucky with light and dark types, so... Ooh, and he has a square. Perfect. You could even do like, crit rate, attack, but I'm gonna go for triple attack with him. There's no point in doing anything else other than that. Are the skill books out? Ooh, he is skill booked. Ooh, that's crazy. So let's see. Passive skill plus 2, so you can essentially get him to last. That buff will last for 8 turns. That's kind of a waste. No arena fight or battle is ever going to last 8 turns. I wish you had something else like damage increase here. So we got 10, 30% damage increase. So that's actually very, very good. Alright, so let's go ahead and check them out. So the one thing that's kind of odd about this particular, monster now is that he is a full-time healer. So again, if you look at his normal skills here, the Storm of Regalia harnesses the energy of nature to create a storm that strikes the enemy. So the first turn here is going to be an attack, whereas the second skill, the active, the main that counts, is summons nature energy from the earth and heals all allies. So this is that rebirth monster that I was talking about a couple months ago that is going to be a healer type. He's kind of a little bit of an oddball because you don't necessarily see rebirthable mons as healers. And he actually has some pretty weird combination of skills for a healer type, particularly once we get to the light and the dark type, as well as I believe it's the wood one. So we'll just go ahead and get started here. So the fire type here is the defender type. He comes in with, let's see, 27,744 HP, 2840 attack, and 3432 defense. Recovery is 2424. For a healer type, defender type, he has really good defense, and his main use is going to be in Titans. The 3-star skill is Weaken, grants a 70% chance to weaken the enemy for 2 turns, and the 5-star skill is Attack Up, increases allies' attack power for 3 turns. So I think he's a very good replacement for the Baby Shark, or for the, I want to say Cupid, but I don't know how I feel about Weekend versus Attack Down. Weekend is kind of like a weaker version of the attack and defense down. I believe it's only like 30 or 40%. 40%, I believe. You guys can correct me if we're wrong. You guys can put it down in the comment section below. But I believe Weekend is 30% defense and 30% attack. I can't remember if somebody actually went over that a couple months ago and it was actually a little bit higher than that. It could be 40% of both, but I'm pretty sure it's 30% attack down and 30% defense down. So, whether or not you prioritize attack down, from the Fire Cupid or the Baby Shark for weaken. It's up to you. Personally, for me, I don't have the Water Bast, so weaken and attack up is actually really good. I could use them in the Light and the Dark Titan because, unless you have the Neza, you're looking at very few monsters that have the weaken. The Water Gilgamesh, I believe, is another monster that comes in with the weaken and Courageous Strike. But I think the Fire type is actually a pretty decent healer. He's going to fit more, I would say, on the back lane for the Wood Titan because Buff Rake is on the top lane. So if he does attack up on the top lane, left or right, he's just going to get that debuff removed. So he's useless on the front lane. So mainly as a replacement on the back lane, I would say for the Fire Cupid. But depends on you guys. You could use the Pixie next to him for some defense up, weaken, and attack up on the back lane. I think he's a pretty good mix. Also, I do believe he is the first monster to have weaken aside from the Fire Poseidon for Titans. So also a good pickup if you don't have the Fire Poseidon. Poseidon is weaken Courageous Strike, whereas this guy is a healer type, so he's just going to be weakening and attack up and a healer. So if you have some good monsters built up, he could be a fairly decent healer. Him being a defender type already puts him above a lot of the other monsters that you can pick up. If you're paying him and using him in the light and dark type, he goes very well next to a Wood Hana. So very good monster to have. But again, for new players, completely skip him. You don't need him. If you don't have the Fire Pixie, it's pointless for you to build him because if you're going to be using him in the Wood Titan, you're going to need the Pixie. Pixie's the other monster next to the Fire Cherry, who is coming up next with defense up. So if you don't have a monster that's defense up, there's no point in running the Wood Titan. Unless you have the monsters for the front lane, you don't want to build him for the back lane. So, but if you do have the Pixie and you want to build a Fire type, go for it. It's up to you guys, what kind of monsters you want to give up for one. But just know that there are other monsters that could essentially replace him, and he is pretty costly. I only rebirth because I wanted to see if I could pull the light one, but I think the fire one's okay. I think, like I said, it's kind of like a higher stats than Baby Shark, but attack down on Baby Shark might be a little bit more useful for a lot of you players out there, specifically those that are new or mid-game players. This guy might be more for like the higher end game players, I would say, but he is a very good recovery healer monster. So again, healer type. The way that I would build him is probably HP defense recovery. You could also do HP defense, but because the only reason why I say drop the recovery is because you're going to be placing him next to another healer, like the Pixie, for example. So you could do HP defense on him, but I personally kind of box all of my healers as HP defense and recovery. Him being a defender type means he's just going to last a little bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead and basically cut the fire one here and move on to the water one, but I would say that he's a pretty good monster to build. Probably works best on a life, protection, or convection set over anything. You could also place him on a Gem of the Healer. Just make sure you have quite a decent amount of resistance on him. But all in all, I think the fire one is a pretty good monster. Would I prioritize building him first? No, definitely not. Unless you absolutely need a healer and you don't have the fire pixie and you have quite a few monsters, nope, no way. Okay, so moving on to the water one, which is very, very interesting. He is going to be another Draka counter. He is a tank type, and he comes in with 41,300 HP, 2,500 attack, 2,364 defense, and 2,466 recovery. That defense is god-awful. Particularly because he's going to be mainly used as a defense monster to counteract that Draka, possibly the Light Yuki as well. Yeah, his 3-star skill is SP Siphon, attacks siphon 30% of the enemy's SP, which is pretty good. I'm still kind of like leaning towards the fact that like maybe these two skills are kind of iffy, but it could work. on a Bastion set, I would leave. The 5-star skill here is Dominance, applies a Dominance buff to allies for 3 turns. Allies will reduce the enemy's SP proportional to the amount of damage they deal. So if you put him on a defense team, you know, next to like a light Yuki or something like that, he's going to be helping out your team a lot. So pretty good defender, I think. Is he definitely like going to be someone who's like meta changing? No. I also do know that Dominance is available for the Light Cura. So if you have the Light Cura, you know, I would probably prefer to use the Shock and Dominance together instead of SP Siphon and Dominance on a defense team. Because Shock also reduces defense. So, but I think he is a pretty decent mon. The leader skill here, Charging Stance, I believe I forgot to cover on a fire one, but you know, decreases enemy's defense by 35 to 40%. I wouldn't particularly use him on the arena as this leader type. This is more of a Titan's leader skill, I would say. Arenas might be a little bit but you could try using him. You know, I pulled a dark one, so I may try it, but I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to build everything yet. So yeah, SP Siphon and Dominance, decent skills, but he's not going to be game breaking. I think he might work best again on a Bastion set, but you could also put him on a Pugilist set with like super high resistance, because you guys know like Griffin is a thing. So you know, maybe like a HP defense, I would say for him, for sure, because he's already got a pretty decent health pool because of the tank type, but he needs more defense for sure if he's going to be on a defense team. But all in all, he's an okay mon. Uses for him, mainly just arena and CVC. That's about it. So is he worth 3 nat 5s? Nope, definitely not. There's better monsters to use than him. Alright, so moving on to the wood one here. The wood one is a balance type, and he comes in with 31,500 HP, 3145 attack, 2815 defense, and 3000 recovery. So this one's going to be kind of like the new introduction of the skills here. And we're basically going to go ahead and cover him now. The 3-star skill is Sap, 100% chance to inflict the enemy with 3 types of Sap damage for 1 turn. Sap foes decrease enemies' resistance. So I believe his main use is going to be in Golems, particularly Golems B11 or B15. The 5-star skill is the brand new skill, Undying Volition, which imbues allies with Undying buff for 4 turns, which allows them to survive an otherwise fatal attack once. So keynote on the once there. This effect can only be gained once per round. So essentially, you can stop one of your monsters from dying. So that's another reason why I would see him being used mainly for the Golems B11, because Sap, you know, allows you to kind of kill the boss a lot quicker. It doesn't rely on damage and anything like that. And because he's a healer, he might come in handy, you know, during the waves as well. Essentially, what you could do is, if you're manually doing Golems B11, is run the first 3 rounds and use the 5-star skill when you get to you know, the light golem. So could be very, very interesting to use. Builds for him, he does have an okay amount of defense, but I would still try to push that to 3k, so I would probably put him on HP defense or HP defense. Probably is going to work pretty well, I want to say, on a Bastion set actually for the golems, and some of you guys might criticize that, but the Bastion set essentially gives you a shield every turn, and if you're clearing the waves 3 times, he's going to have a brand new shield for those, like, you know, 3 waves, so including up to the golem, the last boss on B11. So you could use him to farm B11. So if you need a zapper slash healer for golems B11, let's say you have, like, you know, a dedicated zapper, him plus, let's say, 2 fire drakas or 2 wave clearers, I think you're looking at a pretty decent amount of finish time for the golem. But personally, I like my team, which is 2 drakas, the what's her name, the Dark Flora and the Water Selene, which are like the 2 best sappers in the game aside from the Fire Persephone, and I get my clears within a minute. So I would say that, you know, if you're using him, 2 drakas and another sapper, dedicated sapper, you could probably finish in, like, you know, 100 or a minute and 15 seconds to a minute and 30 seconds around on B11. So definitely a good golems monster. Would I use him anywhere else? I'm not entirely sure, because he is a healer. You could, I guess you could use him in the Water Colossus as well, but there's better monsters than him to use for the Water Colossus, and that little buff there is not going to do much for you. There's faster ways to clear it than just Zap. I mean, you guys can watch my free Zap guide for the Water Colossus if you really want to know how to beat it down on auto mode. But I think that, you know, to some certain type of progression, this guy's not worth it. It's 3 nat 5s to get one of him, so he's basically going to be just fodder. Gem sets for him, again, probably Bastion set. You know, you could probably put him on a life protection, maybe Gem of the Healer, or the I guess you could use Siphon as well, but not really usable. I'd say the Bastion set's probably best if you're using him in B11. But that's it for the wood one. The light type. So moving on to the two really, really weird combinations here. The light one is an attacker type. How do I feel about a healer being an attacker type? Crap. It's horrible. He is a Titan monster though. His skills are kind of for the combination. But we're going to go ahead and go over him now here. So 27,689 HP, so almost, you know, 28,000 HP. 3,700 attack, which is really high attack for a healer type. This guy's all messed up. Defense 2,400, so god awful defense for a healer. To have that low defense, that attack should have gone to that defense. Recovery 3,000. I don't know. I think that this monster is terribly unbalanced, and I think that a lot of people are kind of like going for him because he seems good on paper, but you have to think about the fact that he is a healer with an attacker type with really low defense and two weird combinations of kills or skills for the Titan. Granted, the leader skill is really good for Titans if you pull a variant one. Not many of you guys will. This is mainly going to be for the whales that have the ability to purchase that Holy Gleam, the variant Holy Gleam. But even then, I don't know. I mean, level 6 variant skill for a 40% defense down. Pretty costly if you ask me. 3-star skill, being Courageous Strike, greatly increases attack power in proportion to the target's maximum HP. Good skill, can't deny it. You know, it does a serious amount of damage. But for a healer to have Courageous Strike and a shield on the 5-star skill, really weird. The 5-star skill is grants a shield to allies proportional to own maximum attack power for 3 turns. Goes along with him being an attacker. It goes along with him being a healer. But I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work out, guys. You know, for those of you guys that pull him and you maybe build him, you know, attack defense, let me know how that works out. I'm honestly, I really wish I had been able to pull one of him because again I really wanted a light Titan monster, and I would have probably built him first to try him out, but I'm still kind of like not really sure where he stands or where he sits on the tier of healers, because he's just an oddball. He would probably fit best on the back lane on the left hand side, I want to say. Next to like a light Neza, next to I don't know, maybe like a light Loki, you know, any debuffer essentially would work pretty well next to him. But I just don't know how I feel about the shield. I get it that the shield is, you know, attack power based, which is really good. But with that amount of really low defense, I'm not entirely sure I would build him triple attack. I wouldn't even build him as an attacker type because he is going to be healing. He's going to try to, you know, keep your team alive. So I'm just not entirely sure how he's going to sit on the ladder of things. Again, for new players, Trophymon, I wouldn't really go for him unless you absolutely have the gleams as well as the monsters to give up for him. This is mainly for the older players that just kind of like want some variety or need to find another monster to replace until they find that light Siegfried. But attacker type as a healer, you know, summons nature energy from Earth and heals all allies. Not entirely sure. He has a decent amount of recovery, which means he's going to be healing okay. But with that really low defense as an attacker type, iffy on the Titans. Let me know, guys, in the comment section down below if you pulled one of him and how you built him. I would love to see what you guys pull for numbers as far as damage goes from him, and as to whether or not he really is something viable for the Titans, because I personally don't see him being optimal at all. I think he's more of a trophy mon, like I said, kind of like the light Draka. So yeah, there's that. Probably gem sets for him, or probable gem sets, probably you you know, attacker type relying on a shield, you could either do Ruin, Valor, because Valor increases attack power as well, 20%. You could also try something like the, I think it's Gem of Armor, I believe. Yeah, Armor might work best for him if you do like Armor, I believe. Let me go back out right here. I just had my Dark Siegfried somewhere around here has a Gem of Armor. I believe Armor is 30% crit damage and 10% defense or something like that. Looks like my Nox froze. Hopefully it didn't die. Alright, so my Nox basically died. But anyways, Gem of Armor. Let's see. Crit damage 30% and defense 15%. So that's essentially what you could use to you know, build him up as well. So that might actually help out a lot. I would say right now probably the best set for the Light Cernunnos or Karnin here is going to be the Gem of Armor. 15% extra defense. I guess if you roll his enhancements with flat defense and defense percentage as well, that could help him survive. So I would do attack flat, attack percent, defense flat, defense percent, and maybe just the either I don't know, crit resistance and resistance. I would say is probably going to be the best enhancements for him, just to try to boost up that defense. But yeah, that's it for the light type guys. Probably Gem of Armor is going to be his best set, or a you know, protection set as well. You could also use Leech, I guess, if you really want. You could do HP defense, or attack defense. Probably best for him on a Leech. But yeah, I'll put here a little comment on the top there what his best gem set should be or could be. And now moving on to the really odd but really weird slash monster that I just pulled, that I'm definitely interested in pulling to check out, or interested in building. So the dark type, he is also an attacker type. His HP here is 28,541, 3,800 attack, so really high attack. Defense 2629, god awful defense, 3180 recovery. So at least he has some pretty decent recovery. I feel like these stats should have gone to the light one. How much did he have for the defense here? 24,000. Yeah, I'd say that probably the dark one's okay, I guess, like this. But yeah, really weird combination, guys. You know, his 3-star skill here is Stalker, increases critical hit rate by 50%, which means you could essentially just keep him at 50% crit rate, and you'll have a 100% chance to crit. So for a dark type, pretty good. He also has the 5-star skill, brand new skill, Undying Volition, which allows you to survive a turn for 4 turns. So essentially, in any one of those 4 turns, if your monster's about to die, you live an extra turn. The skill books are up, increases damage done by 30%, and recovery up 15% for the active, and an extra 4 turns for the you know, buff duration to survive. I think this is kind of like overdone. No arena or you know, no arena battle's ever going to last 8 turns unless you're like maybe like fighting an attacking team with like a defense team. But even then, I don't think it's a very good skill combination. I have seen a lot of people pulling the light and the dark types. I'm not entirely sure, you know, if it's just because they're odd. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to build him yet, but you definitely want to make the most out of the attack for a dark type, but he's a healer, so I'm still not sure kind of how I want to build him. I may try attack defense, just because he's a healer. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to use him on my defense team. I'm going to say right now probably not. He's going to be mainly on my attacking team, but do you ever want to use a healer on an attacking team? 90% of the time I'm going to say no. So he's a really weird, odd monster to have, I think, right now. I think that he should have been reworked. I think that 433 released him a little bit too early with some really god-awful skill sets. But some of you guys who may be more experts on this can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm always open to your suggestions as well as to how to build them or how to use them. So feel free to comment below, guys, especially some of you guys that are more knowledgeable on the skills than I am. You know, I'm just like you guys. I'm just a player making some content. So if you guys have any recommendations or buff builds or anything like that, let me know. Again, I kind of see him mainly being used in arenas, maybe in story as well. But story is really easy. There's better monsters to use than him. So probably just a trophy mon, I think, in my box. So again, I will build him. I'll probably do a showcase on him, test him out, see how exactly he works. Right now, though, I think that the light and the dark types are unbalanced because they're both attackers and they're healers. So I think their skills need to be reworked. I think that they both should have been probably more like Titan monsters. But like, for example, this dark type, I would have loved that he had, like, you know, maybe something like weaken and attack up. You know, that would have been a little bit better, I think. Or even like attack down and defense up. I feel like there's monsters out there that definitely could use the defense up buff. We don't have enough healers with defense up for sure. I think he would have been really good if he had attack down and defense up. And maybe as like a defender type or yeah, probably defender type would have been best, or balanced. So 433 keynote, if you're watching my videos, I think it's time to rework the light and the dark one. I think the dark one should have either weaken and attack up, or weaken and defense up. I think probably that's going to be the best for him as a dark type. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys, which ones you guys think is the best one, which one you guys are prioritizing and building. Personally, I think the fire one is actually the most usable one out of the whole entire set. So the way that I would build them is probably going to be the fire one first, followed by the light one, I guess, if you really need another healer slash damage dealer for the light or the dark titan. But I don't know. Then I would probably say I would build the wood one here for golems, dark one probably last, unless you really want to try him out in, you know, arenas. I don't think he's going to be that great of an attacker, but you know, especially as a healer type, but he could help you out. I mean, you never know. I could be totally wrong. So take my word here kind of with like a grain of salt, you know, figure out kind of how they work best. But looking at their skills now, again, I'd probably say the fire one, followed by the light one, wood one, water one, and dark one. So that's my 2 cents, guys. I kind of was hoping for something better to come along, but that's what we got. And yeah. All right, so let me see what we can do for a couple summons here. All right. Also, I do have some eggs, so I'm gonna go ahead and, or not eggs, some ticket. I have the ticket, and I bought the ticket for this one too. I'm not gonna do too many, but at least we'll go enough to the golden egg, and we'll basically cut out the video there. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys managed to pull. Hopefully, one of you guys got a light or dark type. I always am rooting for you guys. I send you all of my luck. And of course, you know, let me know in the comment section down below which one's your favorite, what you guys think is, you know, most usable where, and how you guys would build them. You know, don't always take what I give you guys for suggestions as like concrete, like bulletproof, like, oh my god, that's the only way to build it. I'll always just kind of tell you guys what you guys should be doing for your builds, but it's up to you guys to, you know, build it the way you want it based on your gems and what you guys have at the time. So. But yeah, nothing too bad. I think, like I said, I'm probably just going to fire back. All right, cool. At least we got a nat 5 there. So I was not expecting to get anything actually, but I think the dark type is pretty good. For enhancements, I would say if you're gonna go with the dark one or an attacker type, you always want to do like flat attack, percent attack, crit damage, crit rate. Maybe some crit resist as well. I'm probably going to use the dark one in the arenas just to test them out, like I said, so I'll probably put crit resist on them. A lot of people kind of bashed me on the way that I enhanced my dark intro last time because I didn't do flat attack. But the reason why I didn't is because you can also make up a lot of the extra attack stat from things like the trinkets and the relics. So that's something that most people kind of tend to forget, is that you can make up a lot of that attack from trinkets and relics. They do exist for that reason. So, you know, whether or not I build it the way I want it to is just the way that I want to build it. It's up to you guys to build your monsters the way you want them to. And yeah. Alright, so we got some 600 gems back there. I think I'm going to keep the golden egg for next month. But yeah, so pretty excited, guys. I at least pulled one dark Cernunnos, which is probably the preferred out of all of them, because instead of building the light one, I'll probably build the dark one first. So all in all, pretty excited. But yeah, guys, all right, let me know in the comment section down below which one's your favorite. I wish you all the best of luck on your clan festival summons this month. I may do some more maybe off camera, but for now I'm going to stop there. All right, guys, I'll catch you all on the next video. Have a good day.